Today on Diplomatic Faces, we will be speaking on the importance of the bilateral connections between Japan and Sri Lanka, which began with religious and cultural efforts. And today it has evolved into more important political and economic ties. To elaborate further, joining us in conversation today is His Excellency Mizukoshi Hideaki, the Japanese Ambassador for Sri Lanka. A warm welcome, Your Excellency, and welcome back to our program, Diplomatic Faces.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So, on this note, you have completed highly impactful 3 years of service here in Sri Lanka,
Yes.
especially during the challenging times, starting with COVID.
Yes.
So, how has your experience been so far here in Sri Lanka?
Well, the period that I have lived in Sri Lanka was a very turbulent period. I'm sure that is. And well, it was very challenging, but also it was very rewarding to work with the Sri Lankan government and for the people to cope with the problems that the Sri Lankan people were facing at the time. Yeah, both at the time of COVID and the economic crisis. Yes.
When we speak about the relationship between Japan and Sri Lanka,
Yes.
the 1951 San Francisco Peace Conference is pivotal to Sri Lanka,
Yes.
Where the late President, His Excellency J.R. Jayawardena, in his remarkable speech
Yes.
that changed the history of the world, said that hatred ceases not by hatred,
Yes.
but by love. And this actually is the beginning of a very important relationship
Yes.
between Sri Lanka and Japan. So what is the current status of this relationship between the two countries?
Yeah. Thank you very much for a wonderful question. The act of the J.R. Jayawardena at the time of San Francisco Peace Conference is in the heart of many Japanese people, especially who are engaged in Japan-Sri Lanka relationship. He helped Japan, he supported Japan when Japan was in the most difficult time. At the time, it was just after World War II, Japanese people had a very miserable lives under occupation, and the peace conference in San Francisco was a very crucial time whether Japan can become independent, and the support that J.R. Jayawardena gave me, the people of Japan, courage, to live in the difficult time. So Japan and Sri Lanka had a very good relations since then, but sometimes there are some, problems, misunderstandings, and some disagreements. But especially in the time that I was in Sri Lanka, I tried to return the debt that Japan owes to Sri Lanka by supporting Sri Lanka at the most difficult time. And I think at this time, Japan and Sri Lanka enjoy wonderful relationship. I think it is the best relationship that we have since World War II.
And also, Your Excellency, being here in Sri Lanka, you would have seen, rather witnessed a rapid transformation in the political landscape of Sri
Yes.
Lanka, where there has been many shifts of governments and also elections taking place.
Yes.
How have you managed to navigate yourself through these shifts and face the changes that have taken place?
Yes, I think I'm a very unique ambassador who have experienced 3 presidents in three
Exactly.
years. So each government has different policies and different agenda. But I have tried for each government to find a common interest and try to respond the need of the people at the time. For example, during the government of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, there was still COVID, so Japan had provided vaccines to Sri Lankan people. I think that was a need of the time. And at the time of President Wickramasinghe, the most important issue was the financial crisis. So we supported the negotiation of the debt restructuring by the Wickramasinghe government. And we have also supported vulnerable people by our humanitarian assistance. And now we have a new government by Anurag Maradisanayake. And it's a very big change. And the new government has new agendas. The agenda such as governance reform and anti-corruption measures, they are very important values for Japan also. I think we can have a very common agenda and we can work together on those priorities that the new government is trying to advance.
You mean to say that you're more confident and to work with the present government under the leadership of His Excellency Anukumar Dissanayake. The Japanese government also has decided to resume its yen loan facility,
Yes.
which they suspended in the year 2022.
Yes.
What could you say to us about it?
Well, I have worked very hard for the early resumption of these yen loan projects. So we are Japan was the first country to resume disbursement of loans after Sri Lanka's signing of MOU on the debt restructuring. I think they are very important for Sri Lanka. It gives the cash flow and the work for Sri Lankan people. So, and the new government attaches very much importance to it as well. So we have already discussed on those projects with the new government. I have talked to the president and the secretary of the president on those projects, and we have agreed to cooperate to continue those projects.
As the co-chair of the official credit committee, yes, we do understand that Japan has been instrumental in supporting Sri Lanka in the debt restructuring efforts. But what is your opinion, Your Excellency? How important is it for Sri Lanka to implement comprehensive economic and social reforms to achieve sustainability?
Yes, I think one of the reasons that Sri Lanka fell in a default is there was not a balance in the national budget, and I think Sri Lanka spent too much for its revenues and foreign currencies. So it's very important to have a balanced economy and balanced national budget. And in addition, Sri Lanka needs industries for its growth and export revenues. And we would like to support Sri Lanka, creating environment for new industries to develop. Yes. And one of the ways is, I think, to have a better business environment for foreign investors, including Japanese. So I would like to see more Japanese investors come to Sri Lanka. And for that, I think it's very important to have a better business environment.
So on that note, Your Excellency, Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation
Yes.
is a grant of the Japanese government, as well as the Japanese government launched the Yokoso Nihon A Japanese language program here in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
So how important are these two initiatives, and how has it impacted the diplomatic ties between our countries?
We have been cooperating to Rupavahini from the beginning of from the establishment of the Rupavahini Corporation, and after the establishment of the Rupavahini Corporation, we have been working closely, and Rupavahini has contributed very much for informing the public about Japan. Like there was a teledrama Oshin.
Yes.
I think it makes, I think many Sri Lankan people have Oshin as a kind of image of Japan, and that have a enormous influence in our bilateral relationship. And now that many Sri Lankan people want to learn Japanese language, and I thank Rupavahini for taking initiative of starting a Japanese language program, so that many people can access to learning materials easily, and so it has a huge impact. And we would like to continue our cooperation.
Sri Lanka's strategic location along the east-west sea routes make it an important partner in Japan's vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific. How satisfied are you with your contribution to maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region during your service here in Sri Lanka?
Indeed, Sri Lanka is located in a very strategic location in the Indian Ocean. And it is a hub for a lot of maritime transportation, including Japan's transport to Middle East, Africa, or Europe. So it is important that Sri Lanka can maintain peace and security around its sea. And Japan is supporting Sri Lanka to have the capability of maintaining free and open Indian Ocean. We are cooperating with the Sri Lankan Coast Guard or Navy for the promoting maritime domain awareness and maritime law enforcement in Indian Ocean. For instance, in my tenure, Japan supported to establish the Information Fusion Center, which is improving MDA and MLE. So, and also we are supporting Sri Lanka for the capabilities for oil spill responses and maritime security. So I think in my time there has been a lot of cooperation to that regard, and I'm very satisfied with that.
Japan has been a long-standing partner in Sri Lanka's socio-economic and peace efforts. What steps have you taken to advance this partnership further?
Well, I have taken many steps to advance the bilateral relationship in many ways. And one is economic cooperation. We have not only supported Sri Lanka recover from economic crisis, but also I try to promote business relationship, which is not bearing fruit yet. But I think after the debt restructuring negotiation is completed, the trust to Sri Lankan economy will be enhanced. And I think there will be more Japanese businesses coming. Second area is cultural exchanges. So while I'm here, there has been celebration of 70 years of diplomatic relationship in 2022. At that time, we have revived a regular festival we call Bon Odori Festival in Sri Lanka. And I think that is going to continue, and there is a growing number of Sri Lankan people who want to learn Japanese language. So that's the second thing. The third thing is we are trying to facilitate national reconciliation in Sri Lanka. So with a new government, we are already talking about such effort. And I think in all those 3 years, probably there will be more cooperation after my departure by our successor.
So speaking of the cultural connections, you've been here for some time. I'm sure though there was challenges around, you would have traveled around Sri Lanka,
Yes.
met different communities. So what are your thoughts about Sri Lanka and its culture and its people?
Well, I have traveled around the country from south to north, from west to east, and I have seen many cultures. I was particularly impressed by the festivals of Perahera in Kandy and Naruru Festival,
Yes.
Naruru Komi Festival in Jaffna. So I see very rich cultures in Sri Lanka, and they are all very attractive. A lot of friends of mine have visited Sri Lanka while I'm here. Japanese people tend to take very short holidays. They only stay 1 week, and they can only visit the most famous places like Shigiri and Kandy, Nuwara area. But there are more places that are interesting, and I hope that Japanese people will know, will visit many places which are still not very exposed.
Even the people of Sri Lanka does value your efforts. What is your message? If you have an important message to leave with the citizens of Sri Lanka, what would be your message?
it was very rewarding for me to be able to work in Sri Lanka for the last 3 years. And I'm very happy that the Sri Lankan economy has started to recover from the economic crisis. I am also very impressed by the election, the last election that took place, and the Sri Lankan people have shown a commitment for the democracy, and they have opted for a change. And I hope that under the new government, Sri Lanka will be even better place, and people can, everyone in Sri Lanka can live happily.
So once again, Your Excellency, along with Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation and the citizens of this country, I take this opportunity to thank you and your government for all the efforts, support that you have given during the last few years you have been in Sri Lanka. And I would like to say, you're moving to a different country. Yes. I heard that you're moving to Sweden. Mm-hmm. So all the very best to you and your family in all your endeavors. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you very much. Thank you.